What's interesting to me, Deborah, is that the Center for Disease Control and the American Academy of Pediatrics back Nurse Deborah. Are you saying that they are backing her based on some fundamentally flawed studies?
Absolutely. I mean, we can have our opinions. I think Deborah it's fair for her to have her opinions, but we have to talk about the biology of the louse and the fact that they're designed by Mother Nature to go from child to child, and the nits hatch new lice. And even the FDA acknowledges that none of the products that they've approved are 100% effective. So if you don't get them out of the hair, and I'm talking about the lice and the eggs that will hatch, then you're going to still have pediculosis. And pediculosis itself is a communicable disease. It needs to be represented that way, and people need to get back to the basics of letting the parent population understand as part of raising children today. And it becomes part of the school culture, and it's not a big deal. I think that there's far more chaos to lower the standards of being in charge of this than there is in educating the parent community. And I know they welcome it. I've been doing this for a long time, and they're always very appreciative of having the information.
So, Deborah, your stance is that if a child is infected with lice, that should be taken care of at home, making sure the child has no more lice, no more nits before they go back into the classroom, just to clarify.
Our position is that parents need to have the proper tools, which would be a quality comb, to screen their children regularly. Believe it or not, it has been proven that combing is 4 times more accurate in identifying an infestation. And if you know to get to it early, there's really no reason for anybody to ever miss any school. It only happens when people are not informed and they're allowed to continue to send the children into the classroom, which means if you're the mother of a child who's already been treated, your child's vulnerable all over again because there's another child there that's going to be infested. This is basic communicable disease 101. No matter what people's opinions are, we have to focus on the basics of biology here and the fact that children are very much at risk of the treatment.
Nurse Deborah, what do the parents and teachers think about your policy?
Actually, my parents of the school district in which I am are comfortable with this. So it's been in place for about 7 years. And I think the most important thing I need to say is there's been absolutely no change in the communicable disease, the communicable aspect of lice in my schools. There's no more, there's no less. There's always been lice, there always will be lice. I think one thing I need to make really clear is the biology of the lice, of the louse, is that they don't jump, they don't fly, and they're not communicated in schools. That's what the evidence shows, is it's incredibly rare because they have to crawl down the head of one, across to another, and crawl up to another. You have to have close head-to-head contact for lice transmission to occur.
Well, but the kids in school, elementary school, they're wrestling, they're outside, they're at the gym, all those things. I mean, you putting your finger through the hair is one thing, but the direct contact kid to kid, that's going to happen in elementary school for sure.
And Nurse Deborah, respectfully, I also want to point out that the American Academy of Pediatrics, actually their stance is that you can allow the child to stay the day. I think the big concern is about attendance and then missing school. But at least the AAP stance is that they should stay out the day, but then they are supposed to be treated.
I don't disagree about treatment at all. There are many methods of treatment. Pesticides is one of them. Combing is very effective. And for many parents, that's a very effective method. Unfortunately, what I run into is a lot of parents don't have that motivation, even though that's what I teach them as well. My role as a nurse is to teach them about appropriate methods of treatment. One of the things I really want to mention, though, is one of the myths that comes around with this is about recognition of lice in school. If somebody realizes, when we realize a child has lice, they've usually had it for 3 or 4 weeks. So that child has been in school already for 3 or 4 weeks. So it's not going that child or any other children in the classroom any benefit by immediately excluding them or even excluding them the next day, because if they were going to expose them to lice, they already have.
How is it that a child can be in class for 3 to 4 weeks and be infested with a parasitic insect? How can that be?
That's what the research has shown us. We've seen on several different research studies that have shown that when they find them, because of where the location of the nits are, the nits that have already hatched down the hair, they have found that those lice have been there for a while. The nits that are hard to find, those are the ones close to the head, the ones that have been recently laid. Those are the ones that need to come come out if we're going to get rid of those eggs.
Children don't want dead bugs in their hair or dead nits in their hair either. Neither do parents, and I'm sure you as a nurse don't either. I can tell you I don't want them, so dead or alive, it's so much better to comb them out. And when you say that things haven't changed, there's an entire industry now that's being supported by families who prefer to have everything removed from the hair. It's a combing industry.